tomorrow. And it is recording, and great. So I'll be able to send this out to everyone tomorrow. And I want to record this because we definitely have a few new things that I did not talk about in the email. I know I have a couple of new things, but something I didn't even mention is really cool. And I just kind of threw it on here tonight, because I've been noticing something on Facebook lately, and I'm going to explain what it is, and it's just been taking the world by storm, and it's something that you don't have to be a good copywriter or even hire one to do any of the stuff I'll learn tonight, especially this Facebook thing. So I'm going to cover that tonight. It'll be such a surprise. So Kay says she's great. It's great to hear my voice. It's great to have you here too, Kay. I missed you, and I'm glad everyone's here tonight. I got a really big turnout tonight, so that's great. So welcome, friends. Grab a glass of wine and get ready for the fun. And again, that's Vicki down there at the picture with the book and passed out. But she's actually awake now. That picture was taken a little while ago. But I want to go ahead and welcome you to Stealth Persuasion, and I want to talk about tonight the 8 most powerful copywriting tricks that will make your prospects love you and also triple your conversions, and they really work, and you're going to love this. And of course, this will be recorded. I'm your host, Colin Martin. You see me down there with the beautiful Vicki Victoria there standing next to my side, cute little baby head, love her to death. She's my compadre, my soulmate, and we're having a great time. Of course, she's always sitting here next to me on the couch like she has been for the last 3 years of these various webinars, and she's learning how to do all this stuff herself too, being a business owner. So, Stealth Persuasion, 8 most powerful copywriting tricks that make your prospects love you and triple your conversions. We're going to go ahead and start. What is persuasion content? Well, basically, it's emotional words that get you to think about your plight and for the prospect to take action. It's also customer-focused words, which is basically talking about them, identifying what is most important to them, and not just talking about yourself so much, but have customer-focused words. Also, we're going to talk about the words that educate. And we want to focus on educating our prospect, and I'll show you exactly why that's important. And of course, identifying the benefits. There are a lot of benefits that we think that our prospect is concerned with, but I'm going to show you tonight a few of the ones that you may not have thought of. Okay, look at this big number here, 644 million, and I dare say that this is outdated probably by a year or so, and there's probably 800 or 900 million active websites on the web at any given moment. And while that might freak you out a little bit because that sounds like an awful lot of competition, the good news is that 99% or more of these sites have content that is dull, boring, too salesy, just doesn't reach out, pulls no emotional heartstrings or anything else. But there is 1% or so of sites out there that do touch the hearts and minds of its visitors, and hopefully yours is one of those, and if not, it will be tonight. And that's the great thing about learning Stealth Persuasion, because you're going to learn what really pulls the heartstrings of your visitors and make them pull out their wallets and want to do business with you. What's a common thread? Well, they tell compelling stories. They identify benefits that matter most with content that relates to 3 key things I'm going to cover tonight that really matter to why they're there and really get them to pull out their wallet and buy. These sites make money, but more than that, they change lives. And I do believe that that's exactly why we started these businesses in the first place. And if you've gotten so immersed into marketing that you can't remember why you started your business, or you get so overwhelmed with technical stuff and website stuff that you don't even care about helping people anymore, then I invite you to go somewhere else tonight and don't bother wasting your time. And I know that my community is not one of those people. I know that they're actually people that care, and that changing lives is the real reason we're doing this, but we want to be financially compensated. So that's exactly what I'm going to get into tonight. Well, who am I? I'm Colin Martin. I know most of you know me by now. Most of you have known me for a long time. We've built quite the relationships together, and I really appreciate that. But that's me, strapping young lad, standing next to my beautiful Jaguar, and I was working with Tom Antion for a long time. I was his marketing manager for over 6 years. So I no longer work there. It's been about a year and a half now, and Tom and I are still on good terms. And also, he made me the head instructor at the Internet Marketing Training Center, and I no longer work there as well because I am just working for myself now, but I loved that experience. Also, I'm top 1% of all content copywriters on Elance, and that's out of 1 million members. So can everyone still hear me out there? Just say yes if you can hear me. Okay, good. Just want to make sure. I'm also a master sales letter copywriter. Sales letters, you got to love them. There's those either long or short ones that sell products or sign people up for things. Sales letters are great. They can be video-based, content-based, but the main way that you sell products is reaching into the hearts and mind of your visitor and associating what matters most to them. So what can you expect from this webinar tonight? I'm going to make a promise to you, and I hope I can keep it, and I'm going to show you the words that push the emotional triggers of your visitors. Also, I'm going to show you how you can get a stampede of traffic from social media, such as Facebook, and this is really cool. Also, how to crush sales resistance right from the start, and the very popular 8 copywriting tricks that will triple conversions. Also, my promise is I'm going to show you how to educate your visitors that will build and make them into a customer for life. And you're going to love that. And of course, I have a live Q&A at the end of this, so stick around if you have questions. You can go ahead and ask all you want. I'll stay here until they're all answered. So I have 3 secret formulas I want to share with you tonight. The first one is called the cattle drive of social media image formula. And the cattle drive means you're going to get so much traffic and so many clicks to your website from Facebook that you won't believe it. And I'll show you exactly how to do that. Plus, the create value with education formula, very simple. And I'm going to give you a few examples of that. Also, the love conflict secret formula, which a lot of my community already knows that one, but it's one of the most famous things I've ever come up with, and I'm going to share it with you tonight. And of course, if you see the little smile face, that recent picture of me taken at a mall photo booth, that means there's a super stealthy trick, and you should underline it or mark it or write it in blood or take a note or whatever, that whenever you see the smiley face, it's something very important, and I want you to pay attention to that because it's going to be a really cool educational trick. All right, don't fear. Writing copy is a lot easier than you think, especially when I give you the guidelines about how to write emotionally. You're going to have so much fun rewriting the content you already have and writing content in the future. You'll be impressed with yourself when you know that you're reaching the hearts and minds of your visitors and that they are rewarding you with sales and signups. You're going to love that, and this will be easy. I know that writing is very scary for some people because we're putting that emotional vulnerability out onto the internet for everyone to see. And it's a little bit like public speaking, but sometimes it's worse because writing has legs. You know, you public speak one time, you write, and people see it forever. So there's a lot to that, and we overthink it. So don't worry, it's going to be very easy tonight. But I am going to start off with a free gift, like I usually do. I have a number of free gifts I'm going to offer throughout the webinar tonight. And one lucky person, this is a brand new gift that I'm giving away. One lucky person is going to get this. It is the recording to my group coaching success formula workshop that I had the last 2 weeks. And it is fantastic. The people that have watched it have changed their businesses completely from this formula. And I'm doing the same thing. Often I don't implement fully all the stuff that I'm trying to tell you about. Don't tell anybody I said that. But sometimes I come up with ideas I don't even have time to even implement myself a lot of the time. And but this is not one of them. This is something I'm eliminating my personal coaching, and I'm moving strictly to this group coaching success formula. And there's 3 secret formulas that are incredible. Can't believe it's the greatest thing I ever thought of. Anyway, I had a webinar and I recorded it. So all you have to do is just beg and plead into the chat box, and I'm going to give away one lucky winner. And of course, I'm going to have to write this down, and I always forget a pen, but I'll just write it on Notepad. So if you want this recording, my goodness, that's the longest please I've ever seen in my life. That's by MJ. Okay, much piling in here, and I'm telling you. MJ. Okay, I'm going to get out my trusty notepad here, and I'm going to write MJ. Sorry, I'm not sure how to plebon. So you win, and also, you know what? I'm going to pick one more person, and it's Phil, good old Phil Lauer, because he jumped the gun and asked how he could win it before I said anything at all, and I'm digging that kind of proactive stance there. So I'm going to give those two away. But if you didn't win, and I know, there's the people are going crazy here. Now look, if you didn't win, there's another chance for two more lucky people at the very end of the webinar. So stick around, and I'll go ahead and give out another one of these. You're going to love this. It's really crazy. So obviously, Clara May says it wasn't fair that he jumped the gun, but man, you got to win however you can. I guess it's a very competitive market out here. So, and Phil says that I rock. Thank you so much, Phil. I appreciate you being here tonight. Now, also before I start, I want to appreciate everyone's time tonight. I know that you could be doing something more important or actually more fun. And I promise that this will be important and fun, and it'll help you make a lot of money. And I just want to reward you for putting your time in here, and I would never waste it by offering a bunch of fluff and stuff that doesn't work. So this stuff's really going to matter to you and your business, and you're going to have a good time with it. So why is persuasive content important? Well, there's three things that happens when you are persuasive with your content that usually you can only do in person, which is build rapport, trust, and credibility. That's very hard to do when you're not there personally to shake someone's hand, to look them in the eye, and talk to them personally. So your website has to do all of that on automatic. So the way you write has to build those three things. Otherwise, people won't trust you enough to buy anything, and they won't be interested enough to even stay on the site, and they'll just leave. Also, persuasive content brings visitors to the site because if they like what they read, they'll come back. It also keeps your visitors on your site longer because if they like what they read, they'll keep reading more of it. And it also tears down the walls of sales resistance. And I'll show you exactly how to do that tonight on this webinar. And of course, how long people stay on your site and how often they come back plays a huge impact in what Google sees in your site and affects your search results. So that's this all has everything to do with search results as well. Persuading your visitors. It's not hard if you understand four things here that really matters. And a lot of us think we understand our visitor and our reader, and often we're incorrect. So whatever you can do to find out who's coming to the site, whether it's a poll you put up or comments that they leave or keywords that they use to search for your site, you need to get a bead on exactly who's there and what is their pain. So part of persuading them is having an understanding of your prospect, understanding why they're there, understanding the pain that they're going through. Everyone is searching for some solution to a problem, and offering solutions and not just more information. I can get information anywhere, but what I really want when I search is the solution to a specific problem that I'm having, no matter what it is, no matter if it's something serious like getting my kid off of drugs, all the way to finding type 2 diabetic recipes, all the way to just finding a dentist or a great pizza place. I'm searching the web for a solution. When you offer solutions and not just a slew of information, your content becomes relevant. And that's a big part in them staying on the site and engaging with your products or services. In that regard, one way that you can engage and persuade your visitor is to educate them in what you're doing. What are you doing? How is it done? And how is it different than everybody else? I sold jewelry for 27 years, and the way I sold jewelry was to educate my customer in why was the jewelry important. And I would tell them stories such as how the stone was mined, where it came from, how long it took to form in the earth, how it was cut, how it made its way from the earth through the mine to my store. And it created this great romantic connection with the piece of jewelry that's so much more important than if you go to Walmart and buy some little cheap silver bauble. So an educated customer, and one that you educate with storytelling, will pay more for a product or service than one who doesn't know and doesn't care. So jewelry has a story that is that I can educate my prospects on, and your business is the same. You are able to educate your prospect fully in everything that you do, your modalities, your philosophy, everything that you do. And when you do that and you spend the time, they'll see that you care and they'll want to do business with you. If your prospect can make a more informed decision about how your product works, how your service can improve their lives, which is the big one, how your business is unique and different than your competition, or how you improve your own life with your own knowledge or product or service that you're trying to sell them, their trust in you will go through the roof. These are the kinds of educational formulas that people expect to read when they come to a site. Actually, they don't expect it. Usually they expect salesy stuff, people putting down their competition, people are saying that their product is just better than sliced bread, but they don't explain how. These are the kind of things that people put up a wall of resistance down up when they come to the site. So your job is to lower that resistance long before they get into the copy by starting to care about why they're there. And here's the biggie. Educating your prospect empowers them. It gives them the power to make real decisions and gives the decision-making tools in there to them so that they can make the proper choice without you trying to shove your message down their throat, which constantly puts up a major wall of resistance. We can't afford resistance on the internet. There's too much competition. You don't want your subject going somewhere else. So if your copy or your content can paint a picture of what their life will be like if their problem is solved, that's a huge jump in lowering the resistance and getting them to trust you. And here I have a couple of phrases that you can use simply that just alert people to the fact that you are trying to educate them. And here's some catchphrases that I like to use. The first one is, here's what you need to know. Here's why this is important to you. I love using them. And you'll understand more clearly when you read this. When you use these three phrases in my education formula here, not only does it alert them that they're being educated, it alerts them that something important is coming up in copy so that it gets them to read further. And so they're very highly suggestive. And it's very easy just to start these kinds of things. Some people call it NLP, call it what you want. To me, it's just alerting someone that I'm trying to help. Now, I want to talk about this Facebook thing that I've been going through. And I don't know if you've seen this, but I've been inundated on Facebook with these weird little ads in my news feed that are not from sites I belong to or groups that I belong to. I guess they're sponsored ads. I do believe they're sponsored ads, but I'm getting them for some reason. And Vicky's been getting them too, and everyone's been getting them. And it's making me click on these things like crazy. I've been clicking on stuff that I would never click on before. Now, I'm an internet marketer. I've been in this game quite a long time. I don't click on things. I don't like clicking on things because I'm just not interested. I don't have the patience to be, sold to. I'm one of these emotional personality types, so, I don't analyze anything. I just simply don't really care about this stuff. But I've been clicking on these things like crazy. And when I did, it took me a couple of days to figure out what in the world's going on here. And if I'm clicking on them, then something very important has taken place. And Facebook has understood this. There's a few people out there right now that are charging a lot of money to explain this concept, but it's called the image and curiosity copy part of posting. Now, when I post to Facebook, I like to use images, but I've never used them in this fashion, and I'm starting to use them now. And anyone in the world can do this. I'm about to show you, and I haven't ever shown this before, so this is the first time I've ever explained this tonight. But simply, if you want to increase your post clicks and engagement and drive more qualified traffic to your blog or your website or to your ads, you need to use an image in conjunction with a curiosity building piece of copy. Now, Facebook has already done a lot of experiments. A lot of Facebook experts have done experiments, and they know that using an image gets 300% more clicks than just writing a text alone. So if you're still writing a piece of text with a link and expecting people to pay attention, you're having to compete with these images. But these particular images I'm seeing lately are designed specifically to build curiosity to such a point that you almost cannot not click on it. You just have to see what's going on. And I'm clicking on stuff about dogs and horses and fire engines and marijuana and babies and I don't know what in the world. Yeah. MJ, she says it's like a car crash. Exactly. It's a car crash. You don't want to look, but you do the rubbernecking, so you have to look. And it's driving me insane. But I started looking at this, and the copy is so great. I want to show you a few examples of it tonight. And the first one, I clicked on this today, okay? And they're using an intriguing image here that I don't know what it is. And then they use this copy that makes me want to click on it. So they have this weird picture, and it says the girl who found this didn't even know what it was at first. They're not saying something like, click on it, click on this, visit my website. They're putting a simple statement that is so stealthy in its terms of curiosity that I love it. And this is, when I took this picture today, it only been posted for 2 hours, but look how many likes and look how many comments were left. 1,800 likes, 200 comments, and this is the big one, 555 shares. When people are sharing your post, that is virally building more people to your group, because those are people that may or may not, basically may not have ever seen or heard of you before, and now someone is sharing that to how many friends do they have? 500, 1,000, 1,500? You don't know. Think of the wave, an avalanche of traffic, this ridiculous photo with such a simple, stealthy little piece of copy. The girl who found this didn't even know what it was at first. I had to click on this. It was so stupid. It turned out it was a dog. I don't care about this. It's like wasting my time. But it drove traffic to the site. It was incredible. The next one I got was, this was a little bit more serious, and it shows this dog kind of bowing its head or putting its head against the wall, and it says, take your pets to a vet as soon as possible if they do this. Recognizing this behavior could save their lives. Now, a lot of us have pet products out there, or a lot of us have something that is that we love, our customers really love, and it could be our children, our family, it could be just time or our possessions or our animals. And so there's this picture. I don't know what this dog's doing. It could be scratching its head, but it married this image with this great stealthy way, and it also built concern for a secret benefit that people don't talk about, which is their pets. And the other benefits are family and time, but their pets are huge. If you have anything about pets, don't talk about how something will help your pet or how great it will be for your pet. Talk about, and I'm going to cover this in the copywriting trick, I think it's number 4, the sense of loss is more powerful than the illusion of gain. So if you talk about your pet is going to die, or your pet will be sick, or your pet's having a behavior, but don't explain everything, just write something very simple. But still hides and makes them click to find out the answer. Very powerful. I clicked on that one too. Here's another one. I don't know what the hell this is. This is a picture of something, and this picture, it could have been anything. It could have been anything in the world. But when this piece of copy, they wrote this piece of copy, it said, nobody expected to find this. And they put a quote, like they're interviewing somebody, that says it's been lying there for years and no one knows the full extent of. This is genius copywriting, okay? This is the kind of stuff I like to do for subject lines from emails and things to get people to open up the email. So I'm going to show you exactly where I got every one of these from here in a minute. But that was really cool. And that picture is so ridiculous. It isn't even anything at all. I'm just blown away. I clicked on that too. I never click on anything. If I'm clicking on this garbage, then obviously this stuff is really working. And this is just something Facebook, this is how you can increase the amount of engagement with your Facebook or anything else, Instagram, any place you're able to put some kind of caption. I love this one. Just a picture, a circle. I don't know what I'm looking at. That's the whole point. They circled something. Now I'm focusing on something and I can't see it. So now it makes me want to click, see if it'll like magnify or something. Very stealthy. It says a man filmed heaven for 7 days. What he saw took my breath away. I have to know what that is. These things are driving me insane. And a lot of us, in fact, all of us in my community are using Facebook to engage our followers, and we're trying to get them over to the website because we're not really able to do business on Facebook as much as we would as we could on our website. So getting traffic over to where they can sign up or get on our mailing list or buy something is very important. So the click-through conversion is what's so important, and these are geared to massive click-throughs. Now, these are just things I put up just a few minutes. I just put these up before the webinar, so I don't have a real explanation on what the psychology behind all this is. I'm just showing you that this is something that is cutting edge and it's working just fantastic. Now, this one was really something, and it shows a crib, but it says, this mother sold her stillborn's baby crib at a garage sale. What happened next made me cry. I mean, I had to click on that too. I clicked on every one of these. And I'm very intrigued by these photos here. And I really needed to know this. So when you're posting on Facebook, take a few minutes and think about something in your business that is like a secret or a story or something that would be so curiosity building piece of information. And don't just tell them exactly what they're going to get in the Facebook. Don't take the mystery out of what you're trying to teach or show your prospect. Make a curiosity building statement that makes them want to click to find the answer. So when we go back to our Facebook strategies here, use an image that is intriguing and marry it with a curiosity building, traffic driving statement. And you'll see the engagement and the sharing go up quite a bit. Now, I did get all of these, and this is a great place to go. And I don't know why I'm getting all these in my newsfeed, because I'm not actually a fan or of this group or anything. But it's called Interesting Things Daily, and you can go over there, and I believe that they're on one of the most cutting-edge ways of marketing on Facebook that I've ever seen. Not sure exactly what they're selling, if anything, but you can increase your Facebook engagement just by using these. So the copy there is absolutely fantastic. Now, we talked about copy building curiosity and also talking about benefits that people care about the most. But there's one important piece or one important job of copy that is the most important. And this secret right here will give you the power to write copy that you never believed you could, because you may or may not have understood exactly what you were supposed to be writing about. But if you can take the reader to a place in their mind where they can envision their life improving because of your product or service, you've done a huge job in lowering resistance. If someone, if someone is thinking about their life differently, and let's say that you're selling a weight loss product and you talk about envisioning having the weight loss, getting on the scale, being excited, the butterflies of excitement when you've lost weight, how you'll feel when you create a visual, and they're playing that little movie in their mind. They're not thinking about stuff like how much, or how much is it going to cost, how am I going to afford it, I've taken weight loss products before and they've never worked. These are the kinds of things that they think about when it's too salesy or pushy. So you want to tell a story and use words that help build a movie inside their head. Also, you want to dive into a war. Every person that is reading your website is struggling with something. They're struggling with a fear, they're struggling with doubt, they're struggling with a prejudice about whatever it is that you're selling. So if you're selling, for instance, weight loss, the first thing a customer comes to your site, they're thinking to themselves, I've never lost weight yet, or I wouldn't be on this weight loss site. So obviously this stuff does not work. So when you can address or get them to visualize real weight loss, then they are taken away from that kind of doubt and that kind of sales resistance. There's always a war being waged, and you need to dive into that. Your prospects should say this to themselves: if you can give voice to what I privately believe or fear in my heart, but have never told anyone, I'll trust you forever. That little piece of copy, if someone can say that in their head, then you are absolutely on the right track to emotional, persuasive copywriting that is only stealthy because they never quite see it coming. You know what you're doing. They're not quite seeing it, but they're relating to it on an emotional level. So paint a picture, if you will, of what your product or service can do. And that's a huge step in making effective copywriting. Right now, I want to give you the 8 copywriting tricks that will triple conversions. And these are fantastic. I presented these at Tom Anzion's Butt Camp 2 weeks ago, and people went crazy over this. So I want to show you the copywriting tricks that I've come up with that will not only triple conversions, but just create raving fans for you and your business, which is exactly what you want. And of course, they can be used in any situation. It's not just your website content. We're talking sales letters, squeeze pages, opt-in forms, the social media posts, just like I showed you earlier, video scripts, which are extremely important because so many of us are making videos, but we don't know what to say, article marketing, blog posts, website content, obviously email content, wherever you think that persuading your visitor will be beneficial, you're going to be able to implement one or more of these 8 copywriting techniques that I'm going to show you right now. And the first one I want to talk about is called primal desire. Number 1, figure out the primal desire of your market and give it to them. A lot of us are selling a product or a service or some kind of coaching, but there's some hidden aspect of our prospect that we may know about, but we rarely address because it may sound taboo or something, or it may sound like we're going over the top. But there's always an underlying reason that someone's going to make a purchase that we rarely address. I took a weight loss again as an example because it's usually one of my favorite examples. And I wrote this piece of copy for a client of mine. So he was talking about weight loss. He was talking about health. He was trying to sell weight loss product. You've tried weight loss products before and they haven't worked, blah, blah, blah. Well, I thought to myself, what's one of the real desires for a woman to lose weight, for instance? So I wrote this piece of copy that said, bridesmaids outshine even the most gorgeous bride on her own wedding day by losing 30 pounds in 30 days and fitting into those skinny jeans again. Now, what I did there was I kind of went in and I'm addressing a certain person, a bridesmaid. They don't want to just lose weight to be healthy. There's a secret that they want to be more beautiful than the bride themselves and to wonder why they're not being asked to be married themselves. So there's a primal desire why people want to buy something. If you can identify that, always put that in your copy. Don't just always use the obvious and superficial benefits, but dig down into the taboo subjects of your prospect and dig down. We all have what's called a reptile brain and a primal desire. What is it that makes us really want to buy? In that regard, there's another war being waged in everyone who reads your content. They have a prejudice and a fear about your industry or your market, and you need to address that. Number 2, confirm the prejudices and fears your prospect already has around your industry. You're not the first to invent this stuff. So if it's a weight loss, if it's coaching, if it's selling pet products, if it's nutrition, whatever it is that you're trying to coach or sell, the person reading your copy already has a prejudice and a fear. So in my business, I sell internet marketing products, one of the most fearful of all products because people have bought so much of it and it rarely works. So of course I wanted to address that. I don't want to just talk about how great my stuff is. I want to talk about the reason that they have a fear and prejudice. So I wrote, perfect for those who have always desired a professional internet business mentor, but have been wary or downright scared of dishing out a ton of money and are not even sure if you'll have someone to talk to. What I've done there is identified exactly what a lot of people think is going to happen before they buy it, which is called a prejudice and a fear of my industry, which is spending a bunch of money and getting nothing and no one to complain to. So think about your market and what are the doubts people have already going in, the prejudices, the fears, the doubts, and address those in your copy. If you do that, you're building what's called a kindred spirit. You're saying to them, I know you already fear this. I understand that. Let me alleviate that pain and explain it in your content. The third one is very simple, but we fear to do it ourselves, which is make irresistible promises you know you can keep. There's a lot of promises we could make. A lot of them don't seem believable, but there are simple promises such as your integrity, for instance, or your knowledge about a topic or something like that, that you can exploit. But you have to write it down. They don't know that until they read it. So if you have an irresistible promise, if there's something that you wholeheartedly believe that you know you can deliver, say it in your copy. So I write little things like, I'll be there to answer every question so you'll never be left behind. Okay, that's not some kind of guarantee. It's the truth. But I want to be able to state that. I'm proud that I can answer every question, and I want to exploit that. Also, another one I use, I guarantee that you'll be happier with this training than anything you've ever purchased before. How can I guarantee that? Well, you can't realistically guarantee happiness, but you can implant the suggestion in their mind. So if I write that, they may actually go, I might be happier with this training, and if that resonates with them, they'll be happier, and it's a promise that you were able to keep. Number 4 is called transforming the act of buying your product into a noble act. Is there a way that you can get your prospect to think about when they purchase one of your products or services, what's an extra benefit that goes beyond just riches or something easier for them? Is there a noble act involved in terms of purchasing your product? Okay, again, I sell internet marketing products that are supposed to make people wealthy online. But all the internet marketing products I see are people standing next to their fancy cars or sitting on some yacht somewhere or, surrounded by girls and all this kind of stuff. That puts up a resistance. I'm not going to buy into a lot of that because I know it's crap and I know it's fake. So instead of writing something like get rich online so you can buy a yacht or whatever, a big mansion, I would rewrite it something like this. Survive the upcoming financial crisis and be there to help your family and friends who can't help themselves. Now, what I've done there is I'm not talking about all the gain you can have or all the things you can spend your money on, but what are the noble things that you can do with money, such as helping your family and your friends? I want to be able to put that in my copy so that it's not, I take away the selfishness of the purchase. And I've given them an excuse to partake of my product and services because there's something noble and more distinguished that they can accomplish if they buy it. So what is it about your business, no matter what it is, can you put out there that turns the selfish act of purchase into a noble act of giving? Or as Tom Antion says, how can you give to charities if you're broke? I heard him say that at a seminar, and I didn't understand the power of that statement, but it was actually quite profound at the time. He's talking about making money online, but there were a lot of people there that want to give, that want to help their community, but how can you if you're not making any money? So the act of making money itself is not selfish if you do the right things with it. So tell that, plant those suggestions in your prospect's mind so that you can move forward and they can make a purchase and it breaks down resistance. Another copywriting trick is, I hate to say it, but we're all somewhat lazy. I'm a little bit lazy. Vicky's a little bit lazy. We're all a little bit lazy. We would like help with as much as we can. We also like to take shortcuts because we really don't want to go back to school and learn everything. And in that regard, don't ever use the word learn in copy. Always use the word discover because people don't really want to learn anything. It's a little nugget you can take with you for free out of this thing. So number 5 here is cater to the inherent laziness with handholding. So simply put, this is what I would write. Don't go it alone. Don't make the same mistakes I made. My copywriting templates will practically write themselves, so you don't have to waste your time figuring it out. Now, let's take a look at that statement. Don't go it alone. That's addressing people's fear of being able to do this, or that they may not have access to you and your customer service. Don't make the same mistakes I made. That's respecting time. If they don't make mistakes, they're able to succeed quicker, and they're not wasting their time. And then, of course, practically write themselves so you don't have to waste your time figuring it out. Well, a lot of people just want it done yesterday. They don't want it done for them. I don't really want to learn to do this myself. I don't want to learn to be a big copywriting person. I just want you to do it for me. What in your business can you do that will address their laziness and then offer some kind of do it for you or hand holding or some kind of template or shortcut to their success? And you can identify that, put it in your copy. Make sure that you're going out there with an ability to walk them through it. Nobody went to school and learned all that stuff out of a textbook. There was a teacher there at every classroom. And that's what they want you to be. They want you to be the guide. They want you to be the counselor for their success. If they're going to buy something and they're left to their own devices, they're going to fail. Address that in your copy. Number 6, use a Q&A to get inside the head of your prospect. Now, I love this because you can use this on web content, sales letters, anything like this. And what I want to do is I know that my prospect already has questions that they're going to throw at me, but I want to beat them to the punch on that. I want to think of the questions that I know I'm going to get, and I'm going to go ahead and write them down and then answer them for them, so that they believe that I'm actually inside their head. So here's a question about weight loss again. I've tried other diets that promise miraculous results. How is your product really different? Now, I know that my prospect's going to say that. So I put that in, and MJ says, is this the FAQ section of a website? It could be. It doesn't have to be. You can put this anywhere. In fact, I would put this even on the homepage and get them engaged in that kind of sales resistance, lowering that sales resistance right from the very beginning. Most people don't visit the FAQ page, if ever, for a long time into the website. So I would use all these techniques very early on in the copy and not hide them. So I already know they have a question about that they haven't lost weight. So my answer is our diet plan is not based on miracle cures or scientific breakthroughs. We help change the way you think about eating, giving you control over your weight loss success. So whatever it is, write down the question you know they're going to have and answer it as frankly as possible. And if you'll notice in this copy, I said giving the control over to you. That's another benefit that people want. Even though they want to buy something from you and they want you to be the teacher, they still ultimately want to have the chance to succeed on their own. They want you to do it all and them to take the benefits. What's in it for me is what your prospect's always thinking about. So use that kind of language as well. Now, number 7 in the 8 copywriting tricks that will triple conversions, number 7 is about storytelling. Now, we have stories, but we don't use them as we should. I like to use what's called punched in the gut storytelling. I want to tell a story that shakes the tree, rocks the boat, wakes people up into why they really need to use my product. So I can talk about my story. When I ask someone, tell me your story, they'll go, well, you know, I went to college, I have a PhD in weight loss, and then I became a nutritionist. I'm like, blah, blah, blah. You're talking about yourself too much. Tell a story that you know that your prospect may be going through, but make it even worse so that they're totally engaged, just like they're watching something on television. So there was a nutritionist or a type 2 diabetes recipe person I worked with, And I wrote this copy for them that said, after 10 years of type 2 diabetes, I was overweight, nearly blind, and suffering from draining exhaustion. I felt as if I was dying. Then, as if my prayers had been suddenly answered, I stumbled across this piece of information. Who doesn't want to not read the rest of that? I have to read the rest of that. I just want to read the rest of it whether I was diabetic or not, just because it's interesting. It's a story about somebody who's suffering. Again, it's the car crash thing. I don't really want to look. I don't want to read about someone suffering, but it's interesting. Plus, I may be able to learn something from it. So take your stories and find the most gut-wrenching element and something that you can really punch your prospect in the face or knock them over the head with something that about you, because what you're selling is the cure. So if you were able to cure your own life, you can cure everyone else, and that's what they're going to take away from your content. So MJ says, hey, I'm a type 2. Well, I am too, MJ. Where can I find this? I won't tell you right now. I'll tell you some other time. All right, number 8. And this is one of my very favorites, and it's very simple to implement. The sense of loss is stronger than the illusion of gain. We all talk about all the stuff you can get, how you're going to feel better, and you're going to make all this money, and you're going to attract all these women, you're going to have all these fancy cars, and life is just going to be grand. People don't, it's not that they don't believe that or don't want to hear that, but they hear it so much, it puts up a wall of resistance. And they kind of doubt that stuff. It sounds hypey and salesy. What they're scared of is losing something. The illusion of gain is hard to get. The sense of loss creates a panic. So in this piece of copy, which was for a direct mail piece for a coach helping plumbers make more money, a business coach, he wanted to send out a direct mail. And I said, well, what's the headline? And he goes, make more money with your plumbing business than ever this year. And I was like, bleh. No one's going to believe that. They're just going to throw that in the garbage. It doesn't even have any kind of pull to it. So I rewrote it as 38% of all plumbers will be out of business by the end of 2014. Why? The plumber has to now read to understand, oh, I don't want to be one of these people going out of business. What in the world is this guy talking about? So instead of them throwing the direct mail in the trash, or as a website would go, they just leave instantly or not believe it, the sense of loss pulled them in, alerted them, panicked them, and now they want to know more information, as opposed to just going, yeah, right, with the big money-making thing. So the sense of loss is stronger than the illusion of gain. So that's something that you want to put into your copywriting. So these tricks have been tested literally with the headlines we've been doing this year to literally triple the conversions, which could be as simple as moving to one page to a website to another, clicking through on a Facebook ad, signing up for a free newsletter, all the way to making a purchase. All of those things are important to you, and that's why you want to implement as many of those tricks as possible. Those are the way to get into the hearts and minds of your visitor, and not just make them fall in love with you, but make them trust you, and where you're building a relationship as a kindred spirit, and that's very important. Now, when I left Tom's a year and a half ago, I went on this 10-week camping trip into the wilderness, and I meditated a whole bunch. I was there for 10, 12 weeks, almost 3 months, out in the wilderness, little pup tent, no food, nothing, no internet. Try that and see how you like it. And I came up with a formula here, and I'm going to share it with you right now. And there's 2 elements in creative writing and, of course, in ad writing. And there's love, conflict resolution. Love and conflict resolution. Love is where you're building up the characters. Little Dorothy was the best in her class. Her parents loved her. Her boyfriend adored her. She had a nice pony, and she was just wonderful and trustworthy, and the whole neighborhood just loved her. And then the conflict was she was walking to school one day, and then a van pulled up. 2 guys, big burly guys, got out, threw a bag over her head, handcuffed her and threw her in and took off. And the resolution is Dad kind of tracked down the bad guys, to their hideout and then beat them all up, saved the day, brought daughter home, end the story. Now, that's kind of the outline to Taken by Liam Neeson, if you've seen that, or Taken 2, same movie. But ads, they do the same thing. They use a creative writing crescendo of love and then building to a conflict and then having a resolution. So an ad could be, you love your home, you spent all these memories in it, you spent a lot of money and time, it's where your children are grown up. Then the conflict would be, the flood came through, or hurricane came through and wiped everything out. Then the call to action is, buy our house restoration product now. Okay, so that's a basic ad. What ads do is they follow the basic creative writing formula of love, conflict, resolution. But when I was out there in the wilderness, and here's a super stealth persuasion trick, I came up with a formula that lowers resistance instantly, and it's been tested over and over the last year and a half to literally obliterate sales resistance. So out of love, conflict, and a call to action, which one of these elements would you take away to increase sales resistance? Or to lower sales resistance. Sorry, let me do that again. Out of the love, conflict, and call to action, one of these creates a massive sales resistance. And which one would you take away to completely obliterate sales resistance and make your prospect love and trust you? If you want to put that in the chat box, tell me which one you think causes huge sales resistance in your reader, and which would you take away that I have tested to actually obliterate that resistance and make them love you. And everyone's saying call to action, love. Mary Beth says conflict. Perdita says conflict. Donald said call to action. Michael says call to action. Ute, call to action. Becky says love. Okay, good. Those are a lot of good answers. And it could be any one of these, because you don't really know exactly what can be causing the resistance in your reader. But I want to show you this story here. And this is, you may have seen this on YouTube. It's a very popular video here. And it's about this beggar guy. And on YouTube, it's called The Power of Words. So you can always go over and check that out tomorrow or something, and it's a really great video. You can't play videos on GoToWebinar, so I'm going to walk you through this and tell you the story. And there was the story of this beggar. He sat here on the sidewalk in a fountain courtyard every day, and he was begging for money. And people, they didn't really care that much about giving to him. They've seen him every day. They'd be becoming kind of numb to it. He had a sign that he put out there next to his can that said, "I'm blind, please help." No, there's nothing wrong with a sign like that. He's telling exactly what's going on, and he's asking for help. But strangely enough, people just kept walking by, and they really didn't give. They just went about their day. They didn't really pay any attention to it, and he never really understood why. He needed that money every night to help feed himself and to find a place to stay, and people just didn't really give, and he never really could understand what the problem was. But there was this one lady who came by on her lunch break one day, and she happened to look down and see the sign, and she picked it up, and she started scribbling something else on the sign. And he could smell her perfume, and he felt her shoes in the video, so he was getting to kind of know this woman, but he didn't understand what in the world she was writing on this sign. So she keeps scribbling a little bit more, and he has no idea what's going on. So she puts the sign back down, and she goes off back to work. Well, all of a sudden, something miraculous happened. People started giving like crazy. He could hear the coins hitting the cardboard, and people were walking by, and they were giving and giving. More people kept stopping by through the rest of the day, and they kept tossing them more change. And more people came by and kept offering even more change. And he had no idea what was going on. And they kept giving all the way through the afternoon. He actually felt a can. And just by the weight of the can, he knew exactly how good he'd be able to eat tonight and whether he'd have a place to stay. Well, that woman came back, and of course he recognized her because he smelled her perfume and felt her shoes. She came back through on her way home from work, and he asked her a simple question. He said, "What did you do to my sign?" And she said, "I didn't do anything to it. I just changed the words that were on it. And what did she write? It's a beautiful day, and I can't see it. Now, that's a very powerful statement, but it's based on the formula that I had figured out deep into the woods on my meditation. And what is that she took one of the elements away, and now I want to ask you, which one would you remove based on that story that made the people give and give when they didn't give before? Is it love, conflict, or call to action? So just put it in the chat box if you understand which one now that you would take away. Uche says Richard, call to action. Mike, call to action. Dr. Charlie says call to action. Donna says call to action. MJ says she's still confused. That's okay. Let me show you. With the first sign that he had, there was two elements, a conflict and a call to action. Conflict wasn't blind. The call to action was please help. People did not give. Why not? Why didn't the people give when he asked them for help? She came by and wrote the sign, rewrote it, and she took away the call to action. She only focused on the love and the conflict. Love, a beautiful day, and conflict, and I can't see it. And the people gave like crazy. Why would they give like crazy if you didn't tell them what to do? Why would your prospect know what to do without a call to action? So I thought about that out in the woods, and I came up with the love conflict formula. And simply the psychology of your reader or your prospect is that a call to action creates an immediate sales resistance for many visitors. Love brings resistance down, while creating a conflict makes them anxious or panicky to discover the solution or to take action on their own. The conflict begs the idea that you don't have to tell them what to do. They'll decide the right course of action in the right circumstances psychologically. You can actually lead your prospects to make the proper choices and trust them to make the right decisions without telling them exactly what to do in a pushy or salesy call to action. So I've been writing these love and conflict headlines. I've been using them for tweets. I've been using them for sales headlines. I've been using them for email subject lines. I've been using them as Facebook ads and social media click-throughs. I've been using them on my blogs and everywhere. And the increased conversion has been phenomenal. And I've created headlines using the love and conflict. And you can see here where love is in red and conflict's in purple. And I wrote headlines such as these: our product can help people, but no one's buying it. If the real estate market is recovering, why will 48% of agents lose their job this year? I met the soulmate of my dreams, then he disappeared without a trace. Often a bridesmaid, never a bride. These are the kinds of headlines that I don't have to use a call to action. It creates a anxious, panicky, psychological trigger in the reader that makes them want to learn more or make a purchase. A couple more are, you're so in love with your boyfriend, but he just left you for another woman. You're a great public speaker and you're not making any money. You can use that one in any industry. You're exercising and feeling great, but you're slowly dying inside. We used that for an opt-in. A client used that for an opt-in, and she was just originally had a weight loss book, and she said, learn the secrets to being more healthy, and of course nobody cared. And she said, get it now and be healthy now, and of course nobody cared. And then I wrote, you're exercising and feeling great, but you're slowly dying inside, and then everybody wanted to know what they're dying from. And their opt-ins went up like 400 to 500% just from this formula, so I know it works. But I do want to give away another of the recording of the group coaching success formula that I gave away during the beginning of the webinar. And Barry's like, pick me. Nope, that's not it. We're going to have to, if you want to win this one, you have to write one of your own love and conflict statements in the chat box based on your own industry, and go ahead and write that so I can give it to you. Kay, you already saw the group coaching webinar, so I don't try to beg that off of me. Okay, so go ahead and try one for yourself using this love and conflict. Think of a love statement, a conflict statement, and the one that's most intriguing, I'm going to give away the prize. Starley, oh, hi Starley, I'm glad you're on here. Starley says, you want to share your message with the world. Okay, that's the first half, but you won't show your heart to the camera. That's good. That's very good. Joe says you're investing and making money, but taxes are killing you. Very good. Clara says you want to feel energetic and have tried everything, but you still feel tired. Very good. MJ says, I am lonely. I need a friend to listen to your program. Okay. Aline says, your paintings are so beautiful, but no one is buying them. That was really, really good. Really good. You're hitting on the nail on the head. Donna says, you love your cat, but hate the mess of litter. That's really good. Mike says, everyone wants to go to heaven, but no one wants to die. Huh. I think that's in first place. I don't even, you know what? I don't even know what that means, Mike. It's perfect because now I want to figure out what in the world you're talking about. This is exactly what I'm talking about. All you guys are getting it out there. This is wonderful. John says you want your son or daughter to attend the best college, but you're leaving them with a life sentence in student loan debt. Damn, John, that's a good one too. That's a life sentence. Perfect. That was perfect. Okay, I love that. Ute says, I hear and read, but why don't I get it? Very interesting. Mike says, death and taxes are both required, but you have to pay your taxes first. I'm not sure if that was a statement. I think he was just making a point there. Michael says, your brother just married. What's wrong with you? What is wrong with me, right? I like that one too. These are great. This is awesome. You guys are doing an excellent job. And you know why? Because I think the formula really works. Oh, Richard says, all the kids are going to see fireworks, but I don't have a parent to take me. Oh, I'm going to have to refer over to Victoria over here, Victoria, and I think that might be the winner because she's a parent, two beautiful kids, and I think that was a heartbreaker.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Richard, you didn't see the group coaching recording that I did, man. You missed out, dude. If you don't have it, I'm going to give that to you. These are great. You know what, Richard? I'm going to give you one. So I got to go back to the notepad here and put in Richard V, because that was really good. I also, Mike with the heaven statement. I'm going to read that again if I can find it. Let's see if I can find it. That was really good too, and I like that. Yeah. Actually, Michael, your brother just got married. What's wrong with you? I like that one. That's great. So I've given away 2 so far. And let's see if there's any more on here. Jim says, you've got all it takes to have a great health, but you're dying inside. That's not bad. You ripped me off, but that's even, I'm glad you're learning. Robert says, you're getting good grades from studying, but you do not feel you're learning anything. Very good. Dr. Charlie says, you want her to stay forever, but your desires may make her run away. Ooh, like that. All right, Charlie, I'm giving you one too. All right, I can only get, I'm giving away 4 this time. I'm giving away 1 more. I've got to see if you guys can nail this one. Barry says you can't think of one, but he's still here. That's cool. Let me try to find the one I really liked. Let's see here. Just give me a second. Well, you guys really did a good job with this. Mike Lancy, that was the one. Everyone wants to go to heaven, but no one wants to die. I like that. So I'm going to give away that to you, Mike. So I've given away 6 of these really great recordings tonight. MJ, Phil, Richard, Michael, and Charlie, Dr. Charlie, and Mike Lancy. You guys are all getting the group coaching, make $1,000 an hour. It's actually make 6 figures by working 5 to 8 hours a week. And if you don't believe it's true, you'll see on that webinar how to do that. So I think everyone actually really got that lesson. But I want to ask you this at this point, because I know it's getting a little late. Did I keep my promise on this webinar? I actually made some promises to you, and I hate breaking promises, and I'm not really good at that. So I wanted to make sure that I showed you the most powerful copywriting tricks ever, the 8 most powerful copywriting tricks ever. And also, did I show you how a call to action creates sales resistance? And how love and conflict can be persuasive? I think I did, because all of you wrote some of the best ones that I've ever written yet. And of course, how to create a stampede of traffic from a Facebook using the image formula. And did I also show you how to educate your prospect into creating more value for your business, plus a bunch of other stuff. And also, was I cute and funny? Was I cute and funny? Everybody's saying yes, thanks so much. I thought I'd just get a cookie. I don't know what that means. Yes, you did. C, Richard says. Yes, Donna says. Everyone's saying, yes, I did keep my promise. I hope everyone's saying that yes to the I was cute and funny. Ute says, I'm learning always. Thanks, Colin. I've tried to apply some of these concepts in my last short story. Good job. MJ says, great stuff, great stuff. Barry says, uh-huh. Yeah, he's real excited. Kay says, totally. Thanks, Colin. You're cute and funny. Well, thank you. Deline says it's very informative, cute and funny. Becky says the best webinar she's ever attended. I appreciate that. Speaking of all this webinar tonight, I know it's getting late, and I do want to appreciate your time for being here. And if anyone knows me as well, as well as a lot of you do, I could have talked about this stuff all night. And there's always a ton more that we could have covered, and I would love to have gone on with this. But there are a bunch of other things you need to know in terms of stealth copywriting that you can apply to your business. One of them is writing in a conversational tone. That's important, that you're writing in a conversational tone and not just writing about yourself, but creating the illusion of having a conversation on your web. Also, building a persona. If you ever read a lot of your favorite websites, you'll see that people have a persona or a brand persona that is very influential. How do they do that? Also, framing yourself as an expert is something that I would have loved to gotten into, because testimonials are one thing, but getting big people that have a giant list of prospects to tell them that you're the real expert is an art in itself, and very effective. Also, leading your visitors step by step to results. That's very important that on your website, that you're not just bombarding them with a whole bunch of information, but you're actually getting them to take a step-by-step process to a conversion, hopefully making money. Writing persuasive video scripts. I did do a webinar not too long ago about persuasive video scripts, but as much as videos as we're making these days on social media and our sales letters and websites and YouTube, what in the world should we say in a video script that is stealthy and persuasive? And also, you're able to use a lot of these more stealthy techniques in your Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn to build huge followings and fanships. You don't really want prospects and customers, you want raving fans. That's what I call them, because a raving fan will never go anywhere else and never buy anything from anyone else but you. And that's exactly what you want. So I do have a solution for all the stuff that I didn't get to cover tonight, and it's the Stealth Persuasion Workshop. These are 12 exclusive webinar recordings that I did with a small group of people, where we went over 12 weeks of different topics based on article blogging content strategies, creating product launches, crafting perfect sales letters and squeeze pages, how to create social proof, how to get fictional characters to sell for you. I love that one. Everyone's got all sorts of characters. Retailers use it all the time. How to use situations and stories to brand yourself. Your unique story is what sets you apart from your competition. And I have an exclusive workshop just based on that alone. And these are all recordings of the workshop that I did with a great group of people about a year and a half ago, and recorded them all. Also, crafting powerful teleclasses, webinar closes, everything you need to close a sale using stealth persuasion, which also applies to all sorts of new media, such as polling, comment marketing, forum marketing, text messaging, direct mail, everything else, and more. Now, the workshop itself is 24 hours of video recordings and all the Q&A related to each one of those topics. The workshop also includes 3 hours of over-the-shoulder training videos. I actually go through sales letters and on a screen capture program to rip them all apart so you can see exactly how I would have done it. Or I've looked at some of the ones that I've created for myself, some that have made millions of dollars, sales letters for other people that I've written, and I'll show you exactly how I crafted those. There's also swipe files included in the workshop. These are the emails that you've gotten from all these gurus over the years that you deleted. Well, a lot of those were great gems of information and great copywriting that I actually kept and threw in, and there's a lot of great stuff there. So the workshop does include the 24 hours of recordings, the 3 hours of the screen capture videos, my 166-page ebook, Stealth Persuasion, and of course the swipe files. That's over $700, bunch of stuff. And you can get that tonight for just $97 or 2 payments of $50, which equals $100. So if you buy the whole thing, you're saving $3. And that's over at expertwebwriting.com. $97. You can join the workshop, get all that recording, but it's not over yet. Just like the Ronco commercials, there's always more, but there's a couple of people that have used it in the past. One of them is live with us tonight, and I really appreciate him being here, but he used it, and he gave me a great testimonial. It said, if you charge twice the price for your program, I'd buy it and tell others to buy. You've been outstanding responding to emails and questions, and that's worth everything. Thank you, Richard, for that beautiful testimonial. I didn't charge you twice, so I could have, but I didn't because you're a friend. And then Sonia, the beautiful Sonia, says, thank you so much. You're the best. Can't wait to work together. But of course, the one I like the most, and the one that's really most important to me, because I learned everything from this man, and he was my boss for a long time, and wrote the checks that helped me raise my son, get my son back and raise him into college, and I really appreciate that, is the great Tom Antion, one of the best copywriters in the world. And he listened to Stealth Persuasion, and he got it, and he loves it. And he says Stealth Persuasion is great, and I highly suggest you watch it. The ideas presented were brilliant, and you can put them into play in your business immediately. And Tom doesn't say brilliant very often. He says a lot of other things, but brilliant usually isn't one of them. So I appreciate that, Tom. Thank you. And here's the big thing. Again, a lot of people don't really want to watch a bunch of videos, and they don't want to try this for themselves. Or if they do, they really want some there to help them critique it, make sure they're doing it right. So I'm offering a super bonus tonight. And this is just for the first 25 people only. And it's one-on-one content critique and editing of a website homepage, one of your sales letters, a squeeze page or an opt-in, email promotion, some kind of product launch, a direct mail, one of your video scripts, anything that you've written that you want me to actually look over and rewrite with my fantastic eye and stealth persuasion techniques. You'll be able to hire me as your personal editor, virtual editor, for free if you buy tonight. And that is a $297 bonus. And I can only take the first 25 people because it's very time intensive. So you get all 24 hours of the recordings, the 3 hours of the screen capture videos, the ebook, the swipe files, and personal one-on-one editing time with me. That's $1,000 worth of my time and my training and my expertise for $97. And I would really love for you to work with me on this so that I can help you move forward with creating raving fans and visitors that fall in love with your business so that you can help change the world. It's not all about making money. It's about being able to reach further into the prospect pool and help more people, because I know this is exactly why you got into this business. It was change the world first, make money second. Let's do both together tonight by joining the workshop, and I'll be here to help you and hold your hand through the whole thing. And you can write me emails like Richard said, and I'll always answer all of them. I'm going to go ahead and start the Q&A, but I really want to say just one last thing is that I'm probably not offering this to my community ever again. I'm going to be retiring this program here. And I may get some other big people to promote it to their list with some webinars, but I'm not going to do the Stealth Persuasion webinar. This was the last time tonight. I'm going to go ahead and retire this product. So I would love to have you on board. If you've been sitting on the fence and you haven't been able to get on board with this, or you might want to wait till later, that may not be a good idea, because I'm going to go ahead and end this only because I've developed this whole new group coaching thing where I'll be able to make $150,000 to $250,000 a year working 3 to 8 hours a week. And if you don't believe it, You've really got to see the group coaching thing that I gave away here, the webinar, the success formulas, because you'll be blown away. And I have the real numbers exactly how to do that. And of course, I'll send the link in the recording tomorrow. If you want to purchase the recording, it's only $9, and I'll show you exactly the link to that if you're interested in that. But if you want to work with me tonight, I'll actually include that recording in as an extra bonus if you purchase the workshop from this webinar. And you don't have to buy tonight, you can buy tomorrow. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get into Q&A, enough about all that, and I'm going to answer a few questions we have here. And I'm going to go ahead and so get your questions in. Everybody said it was great. Brenda says, you're great and cute. Thank you. You deliver. I needed this. It makes me go back to review the core of my messages. Darn right. And now I have to rewrite some stuff. Good for you, Brenda. That's the whole point. And have fun with it this time. Marcy says, oh, she offered one up. You qualify for business funding, but you're leaving the application unfinished. That's a good one, Marcy. I like that. Barry says making an impact is important, and yes, it is. Charlie says, is this the same stealth persuasion that I purchased at Buck Camp? Yes, it actually is. If so, did I forget there were videos I was supposed to watch? I can't help you, Dr. Charlie. I really can't sometimes. I love you, but I'll resend them to you. Don't worry. Yeah, there were videos. There were like 3 days worth of videos to watch. But that's okay because I got to work with you, and that's really all I was trying to do in the first place. Donna says, I purchased this at the last class, and I was one of the last 25. Good. So and we have worked together, and I know. So Donna has been on board. Lawrence says, I attribute much of what I learned and now teach due to you and Tom. Thank you, Lawrence. I appreciate you being on here, man. I love you, man. I love when you're on my webinars. I've learned a lot from you, too. You have a great stealth product of your own, and I love that. He says, let me know if you'd like a testimonial for your website. Damn right. You got my email. Go ahead and send me one. I'd really appreciate it, especially coming from you. I hope your teeth are staying glued in. Just barely, man. Just barely. But he said they look great. Thank you. I did have all this dental work, and I've got these giant horse teeth dentures. So it's been exhausting to try to do this webinar. But I got through it. Hopefully good. Richard said he signed up, and it's great. And John says, Colin, are you still doing the autoresponder course? Yes, I'll send the link in the recording to a couple of my other products. I'll probably be discontinuing, not that one right immediately, but definitely this one tonight. I'll be discontinuing in turn for the group coaching that I'm putting on. And I hope you all join me on that. So a lot of the webinars I'm going to have from now on are going to be topic driven. We're going to talk about topics that really matter, high content topics where you can make real money. And then here's the transparency and the surprise. No surprise here. I'll probably be just trying to get you to join my group coaching so we can have intensive community driven coaching. And that's basically all I'll be doing from here on out. So in future webinars, I'll be, getting people to get involved in that as we go throughout the rest of the year. But the group coaching thing is really great. Richard says, so would we change out these conflict headlines with the ones we have on our sites, or better use on Facebook? Yeah, if you have any headlines now, you do want to look at the love conflict and use those ones instead because they have a higher conversion rate. And like I said, I've been using them for tweets. I've been using them for these Facebook ad things that I showed you earlier. I've been using them for subject line in my emails if they're short enough. I've been using them as just headlines for sales letters. I've been using them as direct mail pieces. I've shown you a bunch of examples of how the love conflict formula, and you guys wrote the best ones I've seen yet. So I know that you understand the concept. So you can use them, but they're basically headlines. You don't want to sprinkle your entire content with just love conflict. What you want to do is put it in the beginning of something, and what that does is it makes them want to read further or buy or sign up. They're great for opt-ins, as I showed you with the You're Slowly Dying Inside opt-in, where we got a 40% conversion, which wasn't that big a deal because I think she only got 1 or 2, and then we had hundreds after that. So 1 or 2 is kind of easy to increase the conversion on. So that's great. Dr. Shelley says she laughs. At least I was doing all the other homework you gave me. That's great. I'm glad you're doing something over there. And she did all her auto response campaign. Good. I'm glad to see you're working on the stuff instead of just sitting around making money and letting all this stuff go to pot. Donna says, you're great. I feel comfortable working with you. I have been burned in the past. Haven't we all? Haven't we all? I don't know who to trust out there. I'm glad I know this stuff. I'm glad I worked with one of the best people, Tom, there. I learned a lot, but I didn't have to pay anything. So I was truly blessed to learn how to do this. And I've taken all those concepts and kind of made them into my own thing here. And I love that. So Jim says, I'm planning on redoing my website. Sounds like having you help rewrite the content on the first page should be a first step, correct? Absolutely, Jim. I would help you write that page. Your home page is what people are going to see first. It needs to make the mark. It needs to hit the target. It needs to identify the pain, offer the solution, all within just a few seconds. If that sounds challenging, I can help you with that because I understand exactly how challenging that is. And the rest of the pages on your website are not the most critical ones because people rarely get to them. And you can look at your analytics sometimes and see that your website, your homepage is the one they land on the most. And then the second page that's most visited is the About Me page, which is another great place to talk about your prospect, not about you, which is another secret I have. And then, of course, your blog posts, your individual blog posts are search engine friendly. Google loves blog posts, and they come up very high in search engine results, even over your homepage or the rest of the pages on your site. So they need to be very convincing. Your blog posts need to be short, precise, offer the solutions to people's real problems, and you got them hooked. And so I would love to help you with that. Starley says, you're amazing, Colin, and provide so much value to your clients. I really appreciate, so do you, and I really appreciate that. She said you were was amazed that you offered all you do for just $100 and will respect your generosity. I will proudly recommend your current and future programs. Thank you, Starley. I appreciate that so well. Love you as well, and I know that you've got a great program too, and I love every time we see each other at Butt Camp. And she also says, I'm so glad Tom introduced me to you, and like you, I trust his vision and recommendations. Thank you so much. That's a great testimonial, and I'm really appreciate that. If you guys have any questions about copywriting or anything else, go ahead and pop them in so we can get the heck out of here. Vicky's got to get back on her second bottle of wine here. She's being nice and waiting. She's giving me the evil eye. And anyway, I think everyone here is kind of used to the Vicky Colin interaction here. But anyway, yeah, this will be the last time I do the stealth persuasion for my particular community. So if you don't have any questions you want to enter in now, go ahead and just write me at my email, and I will answer all questions over at Video Power, VIDEOPOWER, Video Power, hard to say with the dentures, at live.com. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and write that in the chat box to everybody. VideoPower at live.com. You can ask me any questions anytime. Send to all. Mike says, what's a good way to find out what fears of prospects are in our market? Mike, I think you probably know better than anyone else the fears that are in your market. If you're selling something to a prospect, you're the expert. I mean, the prospect's not the expert. I'm not even the expert. You're the expert. So actually, you can kind of look at the fears and prejudices that you've heard or you've had yourself or that your colleagues have had based on this and start with those. And if you can't get any information there, simply ask your prospects. Take a poll. What are your concerns? And have them take a poll or leave a comment. They can take a survey. You can put that on Facebook. Facebook's a great place to start a debate and kind of define what the pain and things that people are going through. What's the two things that you fear the most about your particular industry? And have people put that. That's a great place to start. And just use your intuition, Mike, and that's you'll get really far with that. So that was a good question. Phil says, if I ship a bottle to Vicky, can she twist your arm to extend the 90-day offer for a couple of days? 97-day offer? Yeah. Phil, the offer will be up. Since this is the last time that I'll probably be doing this, I'll be able to honor, I'll get rid of the 25 people thing, and I'll honor anyone who makes a purchase, even the next couple weeks while the recordings are dying down. And I'm going to go ahead and offer the editing to everyone. I don't want to shut anybody out since this will be the last time. You don't need to send the bottle of wine. We got plenty over here, but I appreciate that, Phil. Thank you. Mike says, you mean fears related to typical objections. I think fear can run in any number of aspects, not just with the objections. There's also fear of success. Some people are scared that something's going to work too good. They're scared of what their people are going to, their friends are going to think about them. They're scared that their family might not understand their implementation of something. There's fears on every level. The objections are fairly easy to understand. The fear goes deep, and the prejudices go deep. So you want to take a little bit of time, Mike, to think about how deep the fears run in the prospect, and what other fears, not directly related to your industry, may have an effect on their purchase or not. The fear of the investment itself. How can you, how can you work around that? How can you have a fear of their acceptance of new philosophies? What if you're teaching something that goes against their grain of knowledge? You have to address that. These are all the kinds of things that you can take a look at. Fear runs deep, and it has a huge effect on the emotional content of how you sell your products and services. You just want to keep that in check when you write. Marcy says, do you have a list of benefits in your workshop written out, and would you repeat where we reach you by email? Yes, it's videopower@live.com. And you can reach me by email there. And I do have a list of benefits that are in the workshop, absolutely. And there's 8 powerful benefits that people don't ever talk about. And they're not very obvious, but they're very powerful. And they're actually the ones that people respect the most. And if you address those, the conversion is extremely high. If you just address the benefits you believe that people think they want to know about, you'll have disastrous results. So that's a good question there. Yes, the benefits, there's such, and I'll name a few of them: family, time, ego, prestige. Those are just 4 right there of the 8. Then the other ones are in the workshop. Mike says, can I download the MP4 files for the YouTube videos on package I ordered? I don't know if you can download them. You might be able to download. They're YouTube embed codes, so you might be able to download them from YouTube, or I can send them to you if you really want them, because I can get the MP4s myself. So just let me know that. And they're all on YouTube, and they're just embed codes streaming video from a private site. So you can do that. Mike says thanks. I appreciate that. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to go here. I know it's just last one, and but don't despair. I'm going to be on with a bunch more website or webinars on different topics, and I can get into a lot of deeper content topics through the rest of the year. And I'm looking forward to that and hoping that you'll join me for those as well. Phil says, are you going to implement an affiliate program? I do that one-on-one, Phil, so if you want to email me something like that, you can email me at videopower@live.com, and we can discuss an affiliate program. I don't have just a general one you can just go to and sign up. I try to pick those prospects carefully, but it's a good question as well. So if you don't have any other questions, we're going to get out of here. I've been talking for an hour and a half. Kay says, thanks, Colin. I love you. Well, I love you too, Kay. I'm so glad you were here tonight. And I'm going to have so many cool webinars coming up, and actually not doing so much writing and not having to promote this particular product so much will freeing me up to experiment with some really heavy, wild, great stuff that isn't just your run-of-the-mill teachings. It's stuff that can seriously make some really killer money for you, and you're going to want to attend these upcoming webinars. You're going to love them. So I'm going to go ahead and get going. You all have a great night. Y'all, a great Southern way to say everyone. And I'm going to get going tonight. And Doctor says, thanks, Colin, and thanks for amazing gifts. I promise I'll sure to watch and read everything. Cool. Aline says, thank you. Michael says, thank you. Lawrence says, thanks. And you and Vicki have a great night, and we'll be in touch. Lawrence, thank you for that. Great wishes. I wish you and your wife the best, too. Phil says, thanks, Colin and Vicki. Great. All right. We'll see you all. Look for the recording tomorrow, and I'll be sending that out. And I'm going to go ahead and hitting the hay here because it's late. So the denture's out so I can take a breath for a minute. Ute says, thanks so much. All right, you have a great night, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.